Millionaires and billionaires, the 1%, they may come from different backgrounds and have many different types of businesses, but they all have common habits that unites them. In this video, we're going to be discussing these 1% habits and traits so you and I can make more money in our lives. Hey guys, it's Jag here. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stocks, investing, and we make money concepts simple. Even coming from nothing, guys, with a bit of charm, I was able to interact with a lot of ultra successful people throughout my life, from doing various side projects and in the corporate world. These are the habits I directly picked up from them that helped me boost my income and hopefully will help you do the same. The first habit is controlling your information diet. Just like a regular food diet, you have various different types of food to keep yourself healthy. In your information diet, you should regulate and control the amount of information you're consuming and the sources of the information so you can have a healthy mind. Try to leave out any bit of content that is useless. What you consume will be your output. If you consume garbage, you'll be producing garbage. The second point to this habit, which is controlling your information diet, is indeed filtering the information or the advice you receive from other people. For example, let's say you're starting up a new business like an online candy shop. What you do need to be aware of is where you're getting advice or information from in that particular venture. Now, as humans, we love to receive advice from a huge amount of people when we're trying something new in our lives, because when we're trying something new, it's always going to be scary and we need advice and we need help where we can. But really take a look at who you're getting advice from. There is no use from getting advice from running an e-commerce store from your friends who have never ever ventured, for example, in the e-commerce space, or your parents or your grandfather who knows nothing about the digital world. I'm not saying all people are like that. I'm just giving a very specific example. Guys, even when you're doing your university assignment, they always check your references, your sources. Where did you get all this information from? If it's from a bad source, then you'll be marked lower. And this is exactly how you should process things in life. Now, I have personally taken a lot of bad advice in my life, and I have yet to really overcome this habit, but I'm trying my best. For example, in the online world, I have received a lot of advice from family members who know nothing about the online world. And that's what you need to do. You need to cut off that advice because they are not valuable sources. Brings me on to my second habit that I want to discuss with you, and that is focusing on exponential outcomes. There is a term a lot of people like to use. A lot of people like to use this phrase, and that is play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And this is very much applicable in a lot of aspects of career development and in life. In your career or in a specific business venture, you need to evaluate what's the end goal, what's the maximum outcome I can receive. Let's say you're working really hard to get a specific job, and that job is going to pay you, let's just say, £40,000 a year. You might even decide to then take a step back and actually look at another industry which is more lucrative, where you can get even a higher amount of money. I see this day in and day out. A lot of people are doing, for example, surveys online as a side hustle, where they're getting £10 per day on doing this, and they're spending so much time doing these surveys. And I'm just thinking, guys, you're playing a stupid game. You're gonna get stupid action. The maximum cap, even if you're really fast with these surveys, you're probably gonna get like £30 a day. That's not a lot of money, and you're wasting your time. So always look at what you're doing. Are you playing a good game here? Another person who's a pioneer but in the investment scene is Kevin O'Leary. And the principle that he loves to preach, and a lot of people in my life that have heard the same from, is don't spend the principal amount, spend the interest. Now, this may seem like common sense to a lot of people, but certainly can be looked over. A lot of people invested in a stock, and what they do is they get a bit of money, they've made a 200% return or whatever, they withdraw their money completely and they buy themselves a new watch, for example. Hold on a minute, that money's gone now. Now, you've literally come back to zero in wealth building. You certainly can spend lavishly, but you're not going to get wealthy doing it. Now, this brings me on to my next point. A lot of people that are very successful love to do this, and even when they're on the high CEO level, they love to do this, and that is giving a monetary amount to their time per hour. For example, if you're working in a retail shop, let's say your hourly rate is £10 an hour. What you should do is now determine every other action you do in life by that amount you're making. So for example, let's say you're now wasting time doing something else. You have to be thinking, is this time that I'm spending on this specific thing, is it worth my time? A lot of people say that term, right? Worth my time. But what does that actually mean? What it means is that if that thing you're doing is not making you £10 an hour, then you shouldn't be doing it. You should be allocating this time onto actually making that money, or indeed delegating that particular task to somebody else. So for example, it can be a gardening, that you can easily hire a gardener for less than £10 an hour and you can make more money doing so. Now obviously there are extremes, but you have to be really, really analytical and almost audit your life into thinking, am I spending time in the right areas that are going to make me more money in the long term? Now, speaking of long term, brings me on to my next habit, guys. And that is a lot of people that are sort of middle class or lower class in terms of their money, which is me as well. We don't think long term. We think of quick ways to just get money from somewhere, right? We think of short term goals. We think, how can I spend my time into getting the next £200-300? What really rich people do is that they let go of short-term outcomes, short-term gratification for long-term results. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos is a great example of something which is in the public eye. The guy was not making money for like 10 years. Amazon was losing money left, right, and center, but he was reinvesting that money every single year. And now look, Amazon is one of the greatest companies in the world. Now I'm going to give you a real life example of how I've done this in my life and how I've actually made a huge amount of money in a very short amount of time from doing this exact strategy. When I was doing freelance web design, for example, I had a lot of clients that were low budget in that sense. But for me to get onto the higher end of clients, for me to get a higher budget clients, I had to let go of so many of these clients and their money that they were giving me. And then that allowed me to spend more time on myself, actually developing my portfolio, developing my skills, so I can then attract higher paying clients. And yes, I did lose around £67,000 from actually refusing all those projects. But then I attracted higher paying clients that will pay me more per project, and I was easily able to make that money back. This is about stomaching your losses in the short term so you have a greater gain in the long term. Now, there's certainly more habits out there that a lot of rich people are using. I hope you guys have learned something in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a like and subscribe if you did, and let me know in the comments what was your favorite habit. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.